Hello learners, today we are going to discuss on the Unit 2, 2.3. I am Nurul Huda, Assistant Professor. Let me just share my screen with you all so that we can understand what topic we are going to learn about. Today we are going to discuss on the third topic of Unit 2, Pedagogy of Social Sciences. So here we usually see that there's a Bloom's taxonomy, which was modified by Anderson and Krathwohl. So we can find that there is a difference between both the taxonomies. And likewise, we can find that this is a very important question that is very commonly asked in the examination as well. So you can consider this to be, in the examination point of view, also a little bit important topic. So now let me start with my presentation. Yes, so we are going to talk about Unit 2, 2.3, that is Bloom's taxonomy, and the modified taxonomy that is given by Anderson and Krathwohl's taxonomy. So what is this Bloom's taxonomy is? When we listen to this term Bloom's taxonomy, it is something that gives you an idea of what is the kind or the person who have created this taxonomy. As we all know about the Blooms who have been creating this taxonomy for the what you say for the classroom setup. So when we speak about the classroom setup, definitely the classroom setup, how the learning takes place in the classroom, all these factors are being discussed in this Bloom's taxonomy. So now, when we are talking about Bloom's, let me give you a small understanding about the who was Bloom and how he has created this. So when we speak about Bloom's, we can find that Bloom have created this taxonomy in the year 1956, which basically was working on the three domains, that is cognitive domain, affective domain, and the psychomotor domain. So that was the thing that he have created. Basically, he wanted to see how the learning takes place. So he have, as I told you, the domains. So when we speak about cognitive domain, it is something that you work in your brain, okay, in your mind that you're working. That is your cognition. Then affective domain is something that is related to your emotions, feelings, and all. When it comes to psychomotor domain, it is basically talking about the kinesthetic, tactile, and hepatic or hand or body movement that is involved in the process of learning. So basically, we can find that the moment he have created this taxonomy, it has given a varied aspect of human learning, and it also arranged the learning process in a hierarchical manner. It made the proceeding from simple function to the more complex function. So we can find that Bloom's taxonomy is acting like a staple. Okay, just like we have a staple food, similarly we have Bloom's taxonomy acting like a staple in the teaching, training, and professional preparation. For almost 40 years, this taxonomy was used before the Anderson and Krathwohl have introduced the other taxonomy. When we are talking about Anderson and Krathwohl, now let us see who they were. When we speak about who these who was this Krathwohl and Anderson, we find that they were the students of Bloom's. Okay, so we can find that when Bloom's was working on this cognitive taxonomy, Anderson and Krathwohl were also being a participant or the research worker with him. So we can find that later after 1950s, in 2001, both of them have come up with a new version of the taxonomy. Fine, so when we see the taxonomy, it is based upon the 21st century. So basically, they are giving a new vision to the cognitive taxonomy. So this is the difference we find between the Krathwohl's and the Bloom's taxonomy. Let me show that diagram here. So as you can see in the diagram, it was created in 1956 and developed by 2001 by Anderson and Krathwohl. And we can find that the Blooms have used the noun, and Anderson and Krathwohl have used verb form. So here we can find the differences very clearly mentioned in the pyramid we can find here. In the pyramid, we can find there is knowledge used by Bloom and remember used by both of them. Comprehension, understanding. Application, apply. Analyze, analyze. Analysis and analyze. Synthesis, evaluate. And evaluation, that is creation. So here there is a difference between here. So synthesis used to take place in between and evaluation used to happen, but no, here there is a difference between that. The evaluation went down and creation came up. So here basically we can find that this is a more behavioristic approach and this is more constructivist approach. So these are the two approaches we can find the changes are being existing, right? So yeah. Now let me talk about this, what you say about each factor, about what is knowledge, what is remember, every factor we will go through. Now when, as I told you, the change, why the change has come, that's another question that comes to our mind. The change came because of the cognitive domain, because as they have been observing, Anderson and Carthrol, we can see that they have been observing about the Bloom's taxonomy for a very long time. So after observing the first taxonomy, they felt that there is some requirement at the cognitive development. There is some requirement of the change in the cognitive area. So here, because of that reason, we find that they have changed the, they have brought about a change from noun to verb, from behavioristic to constructivist approach. So when we speak about the taxonomy, when we are talking about the taxonomy, which we are saying, we are only concentrating on the cognitive domain here. Okay, the pyramid which is available on your screen is talking about the cognitive domain. So in the cognitive domain, the two primary differences we are able to see from 1956 to 2001. So here this is basically, we can find that from 1956 to 2001, the Bloom's taxonomy was used for almost 60 years. Okay, it has been used very extensively in the classes. So now when we speak about the new version of the taxonomy, we can find that it includes the areas of expertise in the field of psychology, curriculum, instruction, education, testing, educational testing, measurement, and assessment. So this new adaptation took into consideration because it was giving concerns and criticism of its original taxonomy. So when we speak about the original taxonomy, as we have seen, the original taxonomy was giving emphasis to the synthesis and evaluation. But here the evaluation came in the bottom and the creation has come on the top of the pyramid. So here the major difference is lying in more useful and comprehensive manner. So the greater the usefulness and the comprehensive ability to use the information is what is being seen in this new version of the taxonomy. So as we have seen, there is a change in the noun and in the verb form as well. Now let us see the differences between these. What is the difference between knowledge and what is the difference between verb? So according to Bloom, when he said knowledge, knowledge for him is also remembering or retrieving the information. Whatever the learner have learned from the previous material, right? Basically, he used to use it in the form of, doing the recall of memorized information or repeating the recorded information. Okay, this was the knowledge according to Bloom. But when we observe Anderson and Krathwohl's taxonomy, they are speaking about remembering. Here, remembering, they mean that it is recognizing or recalling the knowledge from memory, which is based upon the experiences of the learner. Here, they are not asking about the previous class, what they have learned. They are asking about the previous knowledge they have about the topic. So here in the remembering, the facts, the definition, previously learned information, whatever they have recited or whatever they have listed as a learner, that has been remembered in the classroom. So this difference is clear now. And what is knowledge and what is remembering? Now, when we go to the other aspect, that is comprehension and understanding. When we, according to Bloom, when he said comprehension, it is the ability to grasp or construct meaningful material from the meaningful material, meaningful learning. That is what the comprehension he said. For example, uh, for example, he's giving the, for example, if you say that locate the uh, places in a map, okay, identify the parts of the flower, or discuss on the phenomena, or to interpret some information. So this is something that is comprehension in nature. You're going to comprehend that information. But when it comes to the understanding from Anderson and Krathwohl, they are talking about constructing the information. Here it was meaningful learning, here it is construction of knowledge. Here they construct the information in the form of interpreting the data and extracting information from it, classifying the information and extracting the information from it, summarizing it if you are giving a lot of content, inferring from the content, and then concluding with the summary. So this is understanding that takes place by the Anderson and Cathro. Now, when we speak about the third aspect of this taxonomy, according to Bloom, it is application. What do you, and according to Anderson and Cathro, they said applying. So when we are speaking about application, it is the ability to use the learned material or implementing the material in a new and a concrete situation. So whatever you have learned before, you are going to apply it in the concrete situation. Right? For example, if I give you a sentence to find out the verb. So first you have understood what verb is, and then you are going to apply what is a verb. So here you are restructuring the information. Here you are practicing the information, right? But when it comes to applying, here what they do is they carry out the usage or the procedure as to how to execute that information, how to implement that information in the real life situation. So in the previous application, we have seen how it is applied. Here it is, we are going to see it in the real life situation. Like they give you in the form of presentation, they ask you interviews, they use simulation, they might even use models for that matter. So here the difference of application and applying is really clear. Here you're applying the application is only applying the information, but you in this applying, you're doing the action verb. You do it in action and then you learn from it. And then the fourth phenomena, the fourth factor, it is analysis. From Bloom's and Anderson and Carter, they said analyzing. So what do you mean by analysis? You know, analysis is the ability to break down or distinguish the information into parts or into different components. So here what you do, you organize, you structure the information. Right? You're going to give a structure to the information. But when you're speaking about analyzing, here you're breaking the material, but you're putting the concepts into parts. And you're determining how these parts are related to one another and how they are influencing one another, what is the reason that they have such a structure, and what is the purpose that we are using that structured information. So in the analysis, you only analyze the structure, you categorize. But in the analyzing, you are going to see the correlation, you are going to see the influence, you are going to see the differences, you are going to analyze. So here we can find that there is mental action that is taking place. Sometimes I'll give you some examples here. In the analyzing, sometimes the teacher will also allow the students to create a spreadsheet, conduct a survey, create a concept map, make a diagram, do a graphical representation. All these are done in the analyzing. Now, after understanding that, let us see the fifth phenomena, which is synthesis. When we speak about synthesis, it is the ability to put parts together to form a coherent or unique new whole. Okay, whatever in the Bloom's, we can find that in the Bloom's taxonomy, we can find that there is the information is coherent with each other. It is related to each other. There is no new information, but coherent information. Okay, and then from the coherent information, they are going to construct something new, which might be originated from the it can be derived from the original information. Okay, but when we speak about here in the new taxonomy, the revised one, we find that they have used evaluation in the beginning. Okay, the fifth point they have used is evaluation rather than putting it in the last. Right, so here we find that in the evaluating, they make judgments based on criteria and standards through checking and criticizing and doing the proper critics and understanding what are the recommendations, studying the reports, uh, understanding what is that product is, how it can be created, how it is demonstrating itself, what is the process that we are going to evaluate, that is this correct or not. After critical understanding, after critical critics, necessary changes, necessary prerequisites are being changed. Necessary prerequisites are being identified. So here in the evaluation of knowledge, here is they are critically analyzing. That is what it is coming into evaluation part. That's the reason it is in the second last stage. But here in the Bloom's, it is last stage. So now let us understand what is evaluation according to Bloom. So this is the ability to judge. Here they are judging, they are checking, they are providing critical and valuable critics based upon the purpose, and they are comparing, they are evaluating, they are concluding basically, right? So here, this is in this evaluation, we are validating whatever has been learned. But in that evaluation, we are critically analyzing. What the difference here? So here we can find that in this evaluation, they are criticizing, they are validating the information, or they are judging, they are passing out a judgment. Fine, and that judgment will be the final verdict. So here, but when we speak about the new revised taxonomy, we find that they are going to create. Here in the creation, what they do is they create information which is functional in nature. They are reorganizing the elements from the previous pattern. They are generating a new information by creating required information, by putting together the different parts in a required manner, by synthesizing the information in a required manner, creating a new form of product. So this is when we speak about creating, it is the most difficult mental function of the new taxonomy. To be on a frank note, we can find that creating is hardly being done in the classrooms, and still we are sticking towards the Bloom's taxonomy itself. It's very hard, but it is not impossible, but it is very difficult to create some new information in the classrooms. So with this, we understood that what kind of variation was existing from the both the taxonomies. So here, after understanding this, let us switch to the other factor. Now, let us see, according to Bloom, he had given knowledge. There are different types of knowledge according to him. And obviously, we are using all those things in our classrooms as well. So according to him, he have categorized knowledge into different types. So he said that knowledge is having some amount of terminology. When we speak about terminology, definitely every course has its own terminology. to understand the information, right? That terminological understanding is something that is creating some sort of knowledge. Because, for example, when it comes to what you say, uh, terminologies in a sense of what you say, in the sense of pathology. If you're doing a subject called pathology or microbiology, or you're doing a subject called social, anything, it has its own terminologies. So he believed that every subject has their own terminology, which has to be given significance, which has to be given value for it. If that is not given, so then the learning is not possible. Because as we say, no, the technical terminologies, that is what he has spoken about. That is nothing but the technical terminologies he has given emphasis to. Next, he spoke about the other phenomena, that is specific facts. Specific facts, because in knowledge, we are going to work upon the specific facts. We are not going to work on the whole, but specific in nature. So these specific facts are very much useful for us to understand the concept in a very uh, complete, in a very precise, and with very less error. And then we have conventions, conventions that are required to which are coming up with the time, changes that are coming up with the time, and those conventions makes us to adapt new information. Then comes the trends and the sequences. Obviously, how, as we are seeing in the trend change in the taxonomy, so such trends are being existing in knowledge acquisition as well. Then we find classification and categorization. The knowledge is, when we are gaining knowledge, it is being classified and it is being categorized. Similarly, we follow a criteria for that. What kind of a criteria, what method it is there, what is the setup of it is there, the structure, methodology, and then principle of generalization, theories and structuring of the whole structure. So whenever we are going to acquire any knowledge, we are going to see all these different types of information, different types of knowledge in understanding the one simple concept. So now, understanding about the different types of knowledge by Bloom, now let us see, according to him, he have also spoken about the level of knowledge. There are different levels of knowledge through which learning takes place. So when we speak about the levels of knowledge, we can find that the first three uh, was given by the Blooms, and the next was the metacognition. The last one was given by Cathedral and Anderson. So the first level of knowledge is factual knowledge. This knowledge is basically based upon the facts, the basic elements, wherein the learner is going to understand, acquire the information through problem solving. And then when we speak about the conceptual knowledge, it is having the interrelationship between the basic elements within the large structure that enables them to function together. So here the concept is binded with facts. Whatever the learning takes place, it is binded with the facts. So this conceptual learning makes the learner to develop some classification, principles, theories, models. Okay. When we speak about the third knowledge, it is procedural knowledge. It is the way how something is being conducted, the method of inquiry, the criteria for using skill, the algorithms, the techniques, the methods, all these are involved when we are doing procedural knowledge. And then in the last one, which was given, metacognitive knowledge, was meta means beyond. So beyond your cognition is something that knowledge which is in general, as well as it is a knowledge of widely accepted. It is something that is having the greater awareness. So this kind of a knowledge, when we speak about the metacognitive knowledge, we can find that it is based upon one's own awareness, based upon your particular cognitive processes, how you reflect the knowledge, how you solve the problem, how you understand the cognitive task, how you include the contextual and conditional knowledge, and knowledge by itself. So here, these are certain the knowledges, the levels and the types of knowledge Bloom's have explained. So in this Bloom's taxonomy, We are not going to emphasize on affective and psychomotor, but we are going to emphasize on the cognitive domain. And in the cognitive domain, we have seen that how the changes of the taxonomy has taken place from 1956 to 2001. So with this, I conclude my session by thanking you all for being an active listener and great participant. I hope you are able to enjoy the sessions, and I hope it will be very useful for you to gain good marks in your examination, and as well as you're going to score well and understand the phenomena in a more deep manner. Thank you so much. So I'll be coming up with the other topic in the next session. In the next recording of mine, I'll be talking about the 2.4 according to our OU syllabus. See you all in the next session. Thank you so much.